Good morning, it's June the 4th, 2025. Mr. Jones here, and in my pursuit of staying young, staying active, staying healthy, I read the newspapers in the morning to see what health tips there are on a daily basis. I like to share them with you. I'll probably do this pretty much on a daily basis as well. First one I came across in the Daily Telegraph. The links are down below. For the Telegraph you need a subscription, Daily Mail less so. Anyway, the first one is a gentleman called Brian Johnson. He spends a lot of time in a hyperbaric chamber in order to keep young. I don't have one. He also wants to be the healthiest person in the world. That's pretty good. He has plasma transfusions from his teenage son. Now that's a bit creepy. And he has shock therapy on his genitals. Maybe he's trying to remove some wrinkles down there. Who knows? Anyway, he wants to be the man who lives forever. I'm not sure I want to live forever. Anyway, he goes to extremes to do this. I mean, his calorie count is 1,977 per day. He takes 40 different supplements, etc., etc. And after all of this, to be honest, he doesn't look great. He gets up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm not surprised. I have struggled at 7 o'clock. Anyway, I think this sums it up nicely. His greatest joy in the day is when he doesn't feel depressed. That tells us something very important. So let's balance that with Brad Pitt. Oh God, I hate him. Yeah, 61 years old, and he looks like that. It just shows what keeping fit can do for you, but there's also a lot of genetics as well as a dietitian, a personal trainers, etc., etc. Something we can aspire to, but unfortunately, genetically, not likely to achieve. Anyway, having gone through the two extremes in the Daily Telegraph, let's come back down to earth with the Daily Mail. This article caught my attention because a lot of us older people, we like to do gardening. And when you're gardening, if you want to be as near to organic as possible, which we are, and we grow a lot of tomato, our own vegetable, we have a very large compost heap. So I was quite upset and worried when I saw a headline in the Daily Mail: how your compost heap can hide a lethal superfungus that destroys lungs and kills 85% of those infected. Doctors warn of a growing threat. Bad news indeed. And it's very worrying. A massive compost heap at the bottom of the garden. It's the perfect way to use household waste, grass cuttings, etc. It's okay, stand easy. There's no need to torture rotting vegetables and grass cuttings after all. This is just the Daily Mail doing their usual. The tendency for clickbait is very strong with them. I'm not minimising the severity of what they're describing, of the infections that there are, but it does tell us that the fungus doesn't only exist in the compost heap, it exists naturally in the air and soil around us. Okay, there may be a bit more in the compost heap. And to put it in perspective, in the UK there are 4,000 cases a year. I did some quick sums. That works out at 0.00597% of the population. So the chances of your compost heap affecting you are rather small. The rate of fatality, the Daily Mail says, is 85%. But they cite Manchester University. When I checked their site, it said 30 to 85%. 85% for those who have other illnesses, severe illnesses, etc. And therefore their outcomes are not so good. Anyway, the article also blames climate changes for mutations taking place in the fungus. So it's strange. In one place it blames climate change for the fact that they're thriving and they're mutating. A bit later on it says that they're surviving despite climate change. It would have been a far more balanced article if it had said how unlikely this really was to happen to individuals and that it's not really a British problem. Why am I highlighting it as clickbait? Well, people may well read the headlines and not read the article below, or just read the first few lines below, which is what Mrs. Jones tends to do. And you could be left thinking that green tub with some rotting veg and some potato peel, grass cuttings at the bottom of your garden is going to wipe out your family. What about kicking through leaves on a crisp, beautiful autumn day? Well, if you listen to the Daily Mail, yeah, you shouldn't really be doing that. Anyway, fellow old people, it's worth noting that in other parts of the world, it is alleged that these fungal lung infections, etc., kill more people than malaria. I find this incredible, surprising. However, if you are fit and healthy and living in the UK, it is very unlikely to be a problem for you. Okay, let's move on to another one, another Daily Mail. Common diet Brits choose to lose weight could lead to depression, a study finds. Well, in my case, any diet causes depression. I love to eat, especially since I've cut way back on my alcohol intake. Eating is one of my big pleasures in life. Anyway, what else does it say? Could be of use to us because many older people are dieting. The findings actually contrast reports which claim that low-calorie diets improve depressive symptoms. So, other scientists don't necessarily agree. I love this statement. You'd never guess this one. Researchers found that low-calorie diets were more common amongst obese patients and those who were overweight. Strange that. They added, in contrast, that calorie-restricted diets mean you don't get as much in the way of minerals, you don't get the vitamins, etc., that you may need. So, my advice, forget the calorie diets. Be sensible, take loads of exercise, keep very, very active. Make sure your days are full. Another one. This doesn't affect us older people according to this, but I'm sure it would have the same effect if we were to indulge. Ozempic. Ozempic raises the risk of silent cancer that is surging in young people, the study finds. So a lot of young people, rather than dieting normally, are having these jabs, Ozempic, Wegovy, etc. And it says here, these fat-melting shots lower the risk of dozens of other cancers, meaning the benefits still outweigh the risks. Okay, all right, nice to tell us that there's a kidney risk, but actually it's saying it reduces the chances of other cancers by more. Anyway, never mind. Patients taking weight loss diets were a third more likely to be diagnosed with kidney cancer. That is severe. But the doctor, the scientist who carried out the research, stressed the study was observational and did not prove that weight loss drugs had any effect on kidney cancer whatsoever. Daily Mail, really, you're quite something. Other scientists said they didn't fully buy into the potential link with kidney cancers, highlighting that other research had shown these drugs protect against kidney cancer. So this headline should have been, one man, one scientist, one doctor thinks it might, but it wasn't proper research. Why do you print these things? So really, of use to us, don't bother reading it, none at all. Okay, this one bothered me because I really love spicy food. I eat lots of chili food, I eat curries, cumin. I really love the spices, and so does Mrs. Jones. I often wondered if something that really can aggravate your mouth, really, let's be honest, when you burn eating a curry, whether it had any bad effects. And the Daily Mail, there it is. A doctor issues a warning over spicy food after influencer dies of stomach cancer. It's a very sad story. It's a young influencer, and she died of stomach cancer, really quite young. And her oncologist said it was likely that it was the influencer's love of spicy food, and it could likely to have increased her cancer risk. So that is a concern. So I read it further down the article because you know the Daily Mail. However, there is no conclusive evidence that eating spicy food increases the risk of stomach cancer, with studies exploring the topic delivering mixed results. Again, the headline, isn't backed up by what's in the article. A 2024 study by the British Nutrition Journal suggested that eating a spicy dish once a week reduces the risk of a stroke by 13%. That's a positive. Additionally, another one by the Heart Association of America found that you're 26% less likely to have a heart attack if you eat spicy food. So there's a lot of good news here as well. Cancer Research UK cites evidence that people who eat high levels of pickled foods have a significant 28 to 56% chance more of getting cancer of the stomach. And people have a high salt intake. But there is evidence that spicy food can actually be good for you. So, another case, the headline not reflecting what's in the article. But another one, now I kept this one to last, because this affects old people more, and well, could affect old people more than younger people. Again, the Daily Mail, there it is. The terrifying truth about CT scans. Doctors say they are necessary to diagnose illnesses, yet studies prove that they cause cancer. I did often wonder about this, big magnetic resonance and audio waves being bounced through your cells to get images back. I often wondered, were there negative effects? We know that X-rays are bad and they can cause cancers, so we're restricted in the number of X-rays that we can actually have. But an American study, a major American study, predicts that excessive CT scanning could be responsible for more than 103,000 new cases of cancer. Wow. Which is equal to the number of cancers caused by alcohol. Now, there's terrible things they've said about alcohol. It's a poison. You shouldn't have anything. There's zero tolerance to it. You shouldn't even have a single drop. So basically, based on that, there's quite a severe risk from CT scans. Now, if you think on it, rich people can go and have full body scans. Not because there's anything wrong with them, but just to have a look. Doctors can, just to basically satisfy the desires of patients, say, okay, we don't think there's anything wrong with you, but we'll just pop you in for a scan. Maybe that needs to stop, and maybe people need to have another look at that. Anyway, that's my quick roundup of the newspapers today. What am I doing that's healthy today? Well, my day started as usual, 7 o'clock, healthy breakfast, load of work in my office here. Been making this video. Now I'm going to go outside. I need to finish work. I've been totally renovating my garage. A lot of work in there. I've got a bedroom upstairs which I need to complete. So there'll be a lot of DIY today. I'll be walking into town, walking back from the shops to get exercise. And this evening, when my son comes home, believe it or not, I have an 8-year-old son. Yep, it's another reason for keeping fit and healthy. I will be playing football and cricket with him. Anyway, I'll be back later, but must get off and do my DIY.